That was my first experience with him. And it's not like you could have run home and go on a computer and see who the fuck that guy was. Like, nobody knew. We kept, who's that old guy? Who's that old guy? And then somebody said, he's a comedian. His name is Rodney Dangerfield. And I was off and running. Comedy was not even in my fucking thoughts. The only thing was in my thoughts at that time were 8 balls. That was all I thought about. There wasn't futures. I didn't think about. All I thought about was going to Colombia, buying the biggest rock of coke and snorting it till I died. Like sending a postcard back with me petting like a coke rock. Guys, there's nights that I would just go on a computer and go down a Rodney hole, you know. And he was such an inspiration to me. But when Easy Money came out, guys, it changed everything. It changed everything. On Sunday nights in 1981, we used to go to a porno place, a porno theater somewhere like in Teaneck, New Jersey. And we would just go out there to fucking beat people up and have a good time. But even in a porno theater, I never heard nobody drinking beer. My point is, a lot of comics give you permission to laugh. Those are the great ones. The ones that give you permission to laugh. When Rodney would touch his tie, when he would touch his nose, that's a gesture to get you to laugh. That's a fucking psyche type thing. That's a deep, deep motherfucking comic who really thought about all the possibilities before he got on stage. Very Joe Rogan-esque. One thing about Joe Rogan, that motherfucker does his work for stand-up. Blow Up the Outside World by Soundgarden. That's Chris Cornell's fucking love for the Beatles. That's it. Listen to it. It's right there. When you, something seems to kill me. Yeah, that's fucking the Beatles. Bill Bellamy taught me how to smile on stage. You ever see Bill Bellamy not smiling on stage? He's always smiling. Did I always smile on stage? Not really. But at least that was in the back of my mind. It was always in my ammunition box. That is one of the best sets you'll ever fucking see in your life. D.L. Hughley come up as an MC and get a standing fucking ovation. Are you fucking kidding me? That's what I looked at. That's what, how the fuck do you get a standing ovation when you're the first comic up and there's a fucking headliner? You want to explain that one to me? Harry comes up to me, I got to give you something this week. I'll call you, give me your number. Sure enough, I got a call from my agent. And she goes, I just got a call here. I have an audition for you for the new Rodney Dangerfield movie. I'm like, what? It was Harry who got me the audition for Rodney's movie. I learned these fucking sides backwards and forwards. I know them in Spanish, Japanese, English. You know, this is a Rodney movie. Guys, I go in the waiting room, I sign my name, I have my headshot, and they go, Joey Diaz. I get up, I go in, how you doing? And I walk in the room, it's fucking Harry Basil and fucking Rodney Dangerfield. Guys, this is too fucking surreal for Uncle Joey. I told you guys, listen, in life, if you put the fucking work in from your fucking heart, don't worry about what Mike's doing, don't worry about what Joey's doing, don't worry about what Lee's doing or Steve Simone. Just worry about what you're doing. The universe will fucking give you light. This podcast is brought to you by ONNIT. Go to ONNIT.com and look at the great selection of supplements. If you find something you like, press in code Joey and get 10% off delivered right to your house. What's happening, you bad motherfuckers? It's Monday, March the 21st. The joint is brought to you by Manscaped. You smell that? I think it's your fucking balls. It's Monday morning, cocksuckers. Uncle Joey and Manscaped are sending you to the showers. Save big by going to manscaped.com. And I'm going to save you 20% off and free shipping with code Diaz, D-I-A-Z. There's nothing like taking a shower, right? You eat a little fucking Honey Nut cereals, you go in the shower, you start your day trimming your fucking hairs with the waterproof Lawnmower 4.0. If you got no power, it's got a light to let you know where your dick is. Then you lather on the cologne-infused Ultra Premium Body Wash with aloe vera and sea salt to keep your skin feeling fucking clean and moisturized all day. Then you apply the 2-in-1 shampoo and conditioner, and it cleanses my fucking hair and nourishes the 3 hairs I have. Plus, I shampoo and condition all the other little hair patches I have around my nutsack, the 3 hairs in my asshole. Now, to keep that BO at bay, you gotta get the aluminum-free deodorant from Manscaped. It dries, clear, tremendous. Now, if you got tattoos or dry skin or fucking rashes like me, hit your skin with the hydrating body moisturizing spray. And before you step out, you got some Manscaped lip balm, but that's not for you, that's for the girl. because when your balls are nice and clean, that's what she's gonna need. Magnifique. You ever get your dick sucked with lip fucking balm on their lips and an ice cube in their mouth? It's a party. Anyway, get 20% off and free shipping with code Diaz, D-I-A-Z, at Manscaped.com. Again, that's 20% off plus free shipping at Manscaped.com. Use code Diaz. And if you want to copy my little shower routine, I'll send you a fucking video, cocksuckers. That's Manscaped.com. The joint is also brought to you by ONNIT. Listen, when it comes to supplements, ONNIT is #1. I live on that fucking Alpha Brain, especially the new fucking Alpha Brain improved. Jesus Christ, I'm looking through fucking walls. Do yourself a favor. You're not thinking right, things are a little rough. Start with the ONNIT Alpha Brain. That's the flagship fucking company product. Plus, we got New Mood. We got a bunch of stuff. Listen, I can't save you money on the club bells and stuff, but as far as supplements, use code Joey or Church and get 10% off delivered to your house. Now, you need to hydrate yourself. Listen, they've been my sponsors for months, and I didn't know what this product had to offer. It's Liquid IV. When you're working out, you want the best equipment, the best routine. Now Liquid IV is here to give you the best hydration. Listen, when I got the COVID, I started drinking it. Unbelievable. Whether it's the acai, the cherry, the grape, one stick of Liquid IV and 16 ounces of water hydrates you faster than water alone. It's made with premium products, okay? It's vegan, non-GMO, and gluten-free, and they're supporting frontline workers to stay healthy. Over 19 million servings have donated so far for Liquid IV, but that's not why I'm reaching out to you. The product is great, and I want to save you money. If you go to Costco, they sell it in bulk. That's fine. I'm here to save you 25%. Look at how expensive it is. I'm going to save you 25% when you go to liquidiv.com and use code Joey at checkout. 25% off anything you order when you use promo code Joey at liquidiv.com. I fucking love it. Start off with the cherry, the acai, the tropical, the grape is tremendous. Experience better hydration today at liquidiv.com, promo code Joey. Now, without further ado, it's the Rodney Dangerfield episode, cocksuckers. I love you.
Hey, how you doing? Come on in. Yeah, Joey's in the back. Check 1, 2. Welcome to Uncle Joey's Joint.
What's happened, you bad motherfuckers? Uncle Joey here on a tip-top Magoo Monday fucking morning. Great weekend, great fucking, it's starting to get warm out. All you fucking penguins, get back in your caves, cocksuckers. I don't want to see you. Spring is in the fucking air, cocksuckers. Great weekend. You know, I had a good week last week. I worked. Woo! I did a documentary on Rodney Dangerfield. Rick Rubin's putting something together. I gotta tell you, it was fucking mind-blowing. It really was. I'm a big Rodney fan. When I got the call 5 months ago, they were like, Joey, you know, we want to know what you know about Rodney. I'm like, fuck, what don't I know about Rodney? I studied that motherfucker like a savage. You know, like I read as much as I could about Rodney when I was growing up, like not growing up, as I was coming up in comedy. Rodney was... I loved Richard Pryor growing up, right? No, there was no argument there. But when I saw fucking Rodney walk out on that little short walk on Caddyshack, And he comes out shaking, and he tells, the line in that was when he told the guy, Ted Knight's wife, that fucking his wife could have been something before electricity. Like his wife must have been something before electricity. But he said it so very like he just looked at it and he goes, oh, look at your wife. She must have been something before electricity and all this shit. I fucking lost everything I had when he said that. That whole style over fucking ran me. When I first saw Rodney, I thought he was one of the guys that hung out at my mother's bar. Like, I'm like, this is one of these fucking savages. I gotta, goddamn, my mom's dead. I gotta figure out what this guy's name. Like, I knew him. Like, everybody fucking knew Rodney. And it was all us young kids. It was a bunch of fucking 16-year-olds and shit that were fucking Rodney crazy. Everybody's jumping up and down over Loverboy and all these fucking young guys. And we're like, fucking Rodney is king. People are like, he's an old man. But that old man has fucking flair to him, man. That was my first experience with him. And it's not like you could have run home and go on a computer and see who the fuck that guy was. Like, nobody knew. We kept, who's that old guy? Who's that old guy? And then somebody said, he's a comedian. His name is Rodney Dangerfield. And I was off and running. I was off and fucking running when I saw him. You know, listen, comedy was not even in my fucking thoughts. The only thing was in my thoughts at that time were 8 balls. That was all I thought about. There wasn't futures. I didn't think about, all I thought about was going to Colombia, buying the biggest rock of coke and snorting it till I died. Like sending a postcard back with me petting like a coke rock. Guys, I wish I was fucking lying to you. Those were my expectations at the age of fucking 20. Your pet rock? Yeah, my pet fucking rock. Like, that's all I wanted. I wanted to go to Colombia and take a picture with a big coke rock and send it to the States. That was that was my loser goal in life. So when you guys analyze your goals and go, fuck, I got to switch it up a little bit. Think of your Uncle Joey and his biggest goal at 21. And at this time, I didn't write goals. I didn't have goals. I didn't know what a fucking goal was. I just thought you woke up in the morning, you stabbed somebody, you took their money, and you lived their life. There was no goals. There was nothing like that. So I see this fucking old man, and I'm like, what the fuck? So, you know, I graduated high school. Well, I quit high school. The whole fucking deal. I go to Colorado. And I don't know what I went to see. I went to this movie theater in Aspen. They only opened up like on Fridays and Saturdays. And I went up there to see something. Can't fucking remember. And I saw the trailer for Easy Money. And I lost my fucking mind. I'm like, that old guy is coming out with another movie. By now I knew who he was. I had seen him on The Tonight Show. There was one set he done on The Tonight Show, because for people who don't know the Rodney story, I'm going to give it to you in a fucking Puerto Rican note, okay? It's basically the guy was doing stand-up. He did a couple things, and then he dropped out of the scene. He took a couple of years off to work. He was an aluminum siding salesman. This was the beauty about Rodney Dangerfield. But he kept writing. All those years that he was working, he kept writing jokes, writing jokes, writing jokes. So by the time this motherfucker got back on stage, I don't know. I don't know how many notebooks he had. He had like 4 fucking notebooks filled with those one-liners. Mm-hmm. So when he got that little spotlight from Caddyshack, he started doing the Tonight Show, you know, like religiously, like every 3 months, the way I was doing Rogan, you know. And I got to tell you something. Every time he would go on it, he would be funnier and fucking funnier. That was his secret. That he had 4 fucking notebooks filled with jokes ready to unleash on the fucking world. And every time he had a performance, the sets were better. So you're like, this guy didn't tell, this guy did not repeat a fucking joke. He had hours of those. I'm ugly, you know, when I was a kid, I was so ugly. When we played trick or treat, nobody came looking for me. All that shit, you know, all that shit. He had hours of that shit in his book, you know, in his notebooks. So when he came back, he was strong on a fucking whip. You know, when he did Caddyshack, he wanted to quit. Listen, everything I do is to learn. Like when I got analyzed that, for some people are like, oh, Joey, that's great. You know, the movie sucked. But I got that movie for one reason. I wanted to talk to Harold Ramis. I just wanted to talk to Harold Ramis. That's it. I didn't care about De Niro. I didn't care about Anthony Lampaglia. I don't give a fuck. I wanted to talk to Harold Ramis. And I read years later, before, like in between the Ramis stuff, I've always caught up on Rodney. You know, whenever they do like a show on Rodney on TV, I watch it. There's nights that I would just go on the computer and go down a Rodney hole, you know. And he was such an inspiration to me. But when Easy Money came out, guys, it changed everything. It changed everything. I used to go to movies. I'm a movie buff. I went to the movies every week, twice a week minimum for fucking years. Old movies, new movies, $2 movies. I didn't give a fuck. That was my escape as a child, to go into a fucking movie. And all my years, guys, you've heard all my stories about The Longest Yard, the cinema in Union City, fucking Office and a Gentleman in Harlem, you know, Enter the Dragon, The Exorcist, all those fucking movies I went to. I swear to God, I never heard a person crack open a fucking beer. In all those years in all those movie theaters, on Sunday nights, in 1981, we used to go to a porno place, a porno theater somewhere like in Teaneck, New Jersey, and we would just go out there to fucking beat people up and have a good time. But even in a porno theater, I never heard nobody drinking beer. My point is, I'll never forget going to Easy Money and like my friend going, you know, we're going to stop and get an 8-pack. And I'm like, how are we going to fucking, you know, smuggle an 8-pack in the movie theater? It's fucking July or something. Like, it was hot. He goes, we're going to put in our shorts and our underwear. And we went into this fucking movie theater. And I'm like really quiet, trying to be, like I was a savage back then, but I didn't want to get thrown out of a Rodney Dangerfield movie. So I'm just hitting the beers real light and I'm drinking from them. And I'm not a drinker. But within minutes, everybody who was drinking put their beer bottles down and let them roll down the movie theater. So somebody started with that shit. Right about like 10 minutes into the movie, somebody let a bottle roll down the thing, and you know what a beer bottle is. Nobody's going to sneak a U into the fucking movie theater. You know what I'm saying? Like a glass U. These motherfuckers, after that, all you heard was like a war. You ever hear like when they have like a World War on like TV, you hear like all these bombs. That's what you heard after that. Like once one guy let the beer bottle go, everybody, you heard it every fucking 5 minutes. The beer bottle spinning and hitting. The attendants were fucking pissed. Everybody was pissed. Movies sold out. Let me tell you something. There's a couple fucking movies I remember going to, guys. Like the excitement of being in the movie theater. Like fucking, I can't even describe to you. All those early Bruce Lee movies, when we used to go to the city, to Chinatown, to all that shit, to all those kung fu theaters and shit, those movies were live. They were like interactive movies, and we didn't even know it in 1970. Interactive how, Joey? There was always a fucking good fist fight. There was always a tremendous fist fight in the fucking show. Either two opposing schools, a judo school from the Bronx and like a fucking Hapkido school from Harlem, and they'd be in the same movie theater and they'd fucking go off. I think one of the best movies I ever saw in a movie theater, I gotta be honest with you, was The Longest Yard, the original. Guys, everybody was on their feet in 1973. I was 10 or 11. Rocky, the first time I saw Rocky, the movie theater were on their feet. Guys, in the 70s, we got up. And if the movie was too good, we got up on the chair. Like for The Longest Yard and Rocky as a child, I remember still being on the chair yelling, Rocky, Rocky, like a fucking asshole. You know, you're a kid, man. What do you expect? You know, but all that shit, that was interactive movie. Go to a movie now and take your cell phone out. There's always that one fucking shithead. Excuse me, can you put your phone away? Mind your fucking business. 15 years ago, you could be stabbing a motherfucker at a movie theater, and nobody would say nothing. Nobody would turn and go, shh. You know, they didn't give a fuck. Stab them. I'm over here getting a hand job in the popcorn box. You would do that? You put your dick in the popcorn box. They go to get it and give you a little cappuccino. You throw the popcorn out. You put your dick in the hole. You guys never did that? What type of fucking Catholics are you, cocksuckers? But the movies were always like fucking interactive. Then the later movies that I went to see were like Rambo in '85. That motherfucking black movie theater in Harlem on 178th Street went off the wall. But let's not get ahead of ourselves. Easy Money, that movie theater, when I went to see the fucking movie the first day, was filled with adolescent 70. You could smell the sperm and the pimple medication. It was all of us had fucking pimple medication on. That Clearasil shit, that's all you could smell in the theater. You don't want to mix that with the smell of sperm. Sperm and Clearasil do not fucking go. I mean, the whole fucking movie theater. And I walked out of there, my head was fucking gone, guys. I was like, what the fuck did I just see? Rodney was on a roll. And somewhere or another, you know, Rodney stuck in my psyche. And then I heard stories about him over the years that he got high. When I found out Rodney Dangerfield was a pothead, are you kidding me? I started smoking with 3 fucking hands. And a lot of people, you know, it's like, it's not Rodney didn't walk around with a 420 shirt, but he smoked all fucking day. You guys have no idea, and we'll get into it in a minute. So, you know, I'm still not into comedy. Back to School comes out. That's 87, 86. Rodney steals the show. He's got Kennison in there. He's got a bunch of fucking comics in there. And I'm still not into comedy. Like, I'm like, guys, I wasn't even thinking about comedy. I'm not going to go comedy. Oh, yeah, no. That wasn't even. I was still stealing, and 8 Balls was still the name. You know what I'm saying? You had to knock down the 8 Ball as the king of my hobbies. So fucking embarrassing when you're a loser. But so I don't know what the fuck happened. I ended up getting locked up, blah, blah, blah. And then Dice came out. Dice came out, and Dice just fucking stole me away, my comedy loyalty, you know. But I was always a Pryor guy. Like, I was always a motherfucking Pryor guy. Rodney, you know, stepped up and stole my heart somewhere along the line. Like, Rodney was like everybody I had grown up with. Like, they all had their little fucking stuff to them. That Easy Money, when Joe Pesci is smoking pot and he takes the joint out of the Roach Motel. He has a Roach Motel in his bathroom and he fucking hits it. And then Rodney's smoking dope with his daughter's fucking eyelash things. Guys, come on. Come on, guys. You know, you just see, these are roughnecks, and I was relating to them. I was sitting there in that movie theater going, that's me going to the track and fucking getting in fights in strip clubs. You know, the one guy's talking to the girl in Easy Money, and Joe Pesci comes over and he goes, is there a problem? And the guy goes, yeah, your guy's getting a little rough with the girls here. He goes, excuse me, take your hands off him. Do you know who I am? No, who are you? He goes, I'm the guy that installed the bathrooms in this joint. And the strip club owner goes, that's why the place stinks so bad. And he get into a fucking fight. All that shit. That's fucking adolescent kid shit. That's 18-year-old shit. But listen, when it's on now, Easy Money, I still fucking watch it. And guys, I giggle like it was the first time. Listen, I never stole nothing from Rodney, but there's so many things I learned from him. They open your mind. There's a scene in Easy Money when he's trying to lose weight, and he's in the room like eating strawberries, and his kid is practicing the violin, and she's doing like, you know, scales. Dun, 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 dun. And Rodney can't take it no more. He's trying to build the model, and he's shaking his shit, and finally he just puts the model down. He grabs a kitchen knife, this fucking big, and he starts to stab himself, but he catches his own hand. And that's the scene of him going, Rose, Rose, stop it, because he can't fucking listen to the violin music and he's going to stab himself. Nobody's ever done that type of funny shit. Nobody. So, I mean, Rodney had my heart there. So now Dice comes along, 87, 88, you know, I get locked up, I get fucking released 2 years later, and Dice is the man on the fucking street. And I ran with him. I never dropped Rodney. Rodney was always my core comedian. He was the guy that lived inside my head, right? Like, I always heard Rodney in my head. I hung out with a kid, Roger Holloway, God bless his soul. Just, he was another fucking Rodney guy, and he made me laugh. He had all those Rodney one-liners, you know, the fucking hand gestures, the whole thing. But then comedy came calling, and I went to a video store, you know, that was in Boulder. That was the biggest video store on the West Coast. It was 3 floors at the time. And I asked him about a stand-up section, you know. One of the guys on my Patreon, John Mickelson, great guy here, they said he went to a comedy show. And he said that he was talking to some of the comics and that the comics didn't know who the fuck anybody was. Like, they didn't really know, like, who their peers were. It's like me going up to a musician and going, do you listen to Alice in Chains? And they're like, nah, not really. I don't even know who they are. And you're like, how can you be a musician? You know, you're not a student of the game. Before you get into any of these things that you're, whether it's music, whether it's art, whether it's whatever the fuck it is, you have to be a student of the game. Listen, I don't want you to fucking tell me, like, I'm going to tell you who's a student of the game. With all his fucking pot smoking, all the other bullshit in his life, the reason why I give him the respect that he deserves is Mike Tyson. You could talk to Mike Tyson about anything. First time I met Mike Tyson, I had like a t-shirt on with this Cuban boxer, Kid Chocolate, that nobody knows about. A lot of people praise Kid Chocolate, like a lot of older boxers love Kid Chocolate, but nobody talks about Kid Chocolate. Fucking Mike Tyson gave me a 35-minute fucking lecture on Kid Chocolate, on all his fights, where he trained, how he came to New York City, and he fucking got big eating steaks. I'm like, Mike, I'm fucking Cuban. I don't even know all this shit. And that's not where it ends. Mike Tyson could take you back to the first bare-knuckle fight, 1655 in England, you know. Mike Tyson will tell you, he could be there like, you know, Mike, what time is it? I don't fucking know. Mike, these two guys fought in fucking 1865. Mike will just drill you out. That's what it takes to be a champion sometimes. You really got to, whether you like him or not. Listen, I love Bob Newhart. I fucking love Bob Newhart. Love Bob Newhart. As a comic, love Bob Newhart. The whitest, non-cursing guy, non-confrontational comic you've ever listened to in your life. I fucking love him. Nobody talks about him. Bob Newhart. Joey, I don't see you as a fan of Bob Newhart because you're a fucking jerk-off. Because if you know anything about me, I have borrowed or gotten inspired by a legion of fucking comedians. Just because I don't have my nose up Jerry Seinfeld's ass doesn't mean I don't respect Jerry Seinfeld. I'll sit here and say something bad about Jerry Seinfeld's personality, or he's a dick, he don't even say hello to nobody. All that I sweep because even Jerry Seinfeld contributed to my stand-up. I love Jerry's writing. Jerry has a fucking joke on one of those Rodney specials that he says, how does the hair in the shower move up? It doesn't have legs. You ever notice that? When you're in the shower, there's always hair and it just moves up the wall. It doesn't have legs. All those things, you know, like when Jerry had a joke about fucking, if you don't want to talk to people, jump in the shower. That you can't talk to people when you're in the shower. Excuse me, I'm on the phone. I want to talk to Jerry. I can't get to him. He's in the shower. You know, all that. So for me to learn about Jerry Seinfeld, I'm not a big, huge George Carlin guy. But there's some shit George Carlin did that fucking rocked my world. You know, tomato, all that shit rocked my world. But but Joey, you don't have a George Carlin poster. It doesn't mean nothing. I took a piece of him somewhere in my routine. Is that a joke, Joey? No. I took a piece of him. Maybe a look, maybe a gesture. You know, the thing I liked about Rodney is he gave you permission to laugh. For you guys, yeah, for you guys who don't know what I'm talking about, a lot of comics give you permission to laugh. Those are the great ones, the ones that give you permission to laugh. Joey, what are you talking about permission to laugh? When Rodney would touch his tie, when he would touch his nose, that's a gesture to get you to laugh. That's a fucking psyche type thing. That's a deep, deep motherfucking comic who really thought about all the possibilities before he got on stage. Very Joe Rogan-esque. One thing about Joe Rogan, that motherfucker does his work for stand-up. He investigates, he fucking researches. Me, I'm just a bum. I'm just a fucking bum from that shit. But I have borrowed a piece of all those great comics. You have to. Yeah, what do you think? When you're a musician, you don't borrow little pieces. Put on Soundgarden, Super Unknown, the album of the week on Patreon last week. I think there's 2 songs in there that are very Beatles-ish. Once you get into the song with the album with Rhinosaur on it, on the flip side, whatever, The Outside World, Blow Up the Outside World by Soundgarden. That's Chris Cornell's fucking love for the Beatles. That's it. Listen to it. It's right there. When you, something seems to kill me. Yeah, that's fucking the Beatles. You know, so did he steal from the Beatles? No. You could just tell he was a student of the fucking game from the Beatles. So to create Joe Diaz, I had to study a bunch of comics. And the ones I loved, and you're not even going to believe this, Joe Torre. I rented the Best of BET. In 1991, 94, I would watch the Best of BET on this DVD or VHS. And the two guys on there that I studied were Joe Torre and Bill Bellamy. But Joey, you've never mentioned Bill Bellamy. So what? I'm just telling you that Bill Bellamy taught me how to smile on stage. You ever see Bill Bellamy not smiling on stage? He's always smiling. Did I always smile on stage? Not really. But at least that was in the back of my mind. It was always in my ammunition box. When things get a little funky, smile at the end of that joke. And they'll put a little calming effect on it. These are all things that a lot of people don't see unless you're into comedy. But back to Rodney, all those comics, when I went to that video store, the first video I got was the Best of BET. Joe Torre's got a joke in there that his brother, like, this is what I used to do, guys. When even though I was on coke, I never watched this shit on coke because I couldn't absorb what they were selling me. I couldn't absorb what the television or the video was selling me. But Joe Torre, and when I first met Joe at if you guys get a minute, watch Amazon. They have a show about Fat Tuesday. It was the best black show fucking in L.A. for years. And they gave me an opportunity to perform in there, and it was really an honor because I had watched Joe Torre. I studied Joe Torre, you know, and for me to walk into the Comedy Store and see Joe Torre in those days, I almost died. A lot of you guys don't know who Joe Torre is. He's the sidekick in the movie with Janet Jackson and Tupac. He's the sidekick in that. He's fucking phenomenal in that. I studied a lot of black comics in the beginning. I love black comedy. So him, the guy who did Bebe's Kids, Robin Harris, was one of my fucking, you know, when he played Big Dick Willie, Sweet Dick Willie and Do the Right Thing. Come on, dog. Who calls himself Sweet Dick Willie? You know what I'm saying? So it's funny how Joe Torre used to have a joke that he had to save the whale brother, motherfucker. You know, motherfuckers out there saving the whales. This motherfucker don't have a fucking clue what's going on in the world. I just bought a gun. And he didn't like that either when I bought that gun. He didn't, you shouldn't buy a gun. What are you going to do with a gun? He goes, I need a gun. I live in L.A. I need a fucking motherfucking gun. And he goes, now I'm dying to shoot a motherfucker. He goes, I'll go to the ATM at 3 in the morning dressed up in a tuxedo and shit. And I'll come on, where you at? You're in the bushes. You get out of the bush. All that shit I studied, guys. As dumb as you think that joke is, when I met Joe Torre at the store, I repeated that joke to him. He's like, damn, you're fucking serious. I'm like, man, I studied that shit. Bill Bellamy, Martin fucking Lawrence as a host, D.L. Hughley as a host in BET, and meanwhile, D.L. got a standing ovation as a host on BET. You ready for this? A standing ovation. Find it on fucking YouTube. That is one of the best sets you'll ever fucking see in your life. D.L. Hughley come up as an MC and get a standing fucking ovation. Are you fucking kidding me? That's what I looked at. How the fuck do you get a standing ovation when you're the first comic up and there's a fucking headliner? You want to explain that one to me? So those are the guys I fucking stay. It's true. I loved all that shit, guys, but for me to get to where I was going, I had to get deep in this shit. Deep in this shit, because that's the only way I felt comfortable, is if I knew the A, B's, and C's. Like if Mike was going to start a band, you put on the Beatles, Led Zeppelin, what the fuck you mimic, whatever the fuck, and you study different things. You learn about their recording styles. You know, the guy from Soundgarden took his bass chord and put on his guitar. There's always a fucking story, you know, like Iommi switched them around. I don't fucking know. I'm not a fucking aficionado. But if this is what you want to get into, these are the things you got to look. So I was looking at all those BET things and I was running out of them. And one day I go in and the guy's like, have you ever seen Rodney's stand-up specials with a bunch of open micers and shit? And I was like, no. He goes, I got it. Let me get it. It's like called You Get No Respect or something. There's 2 of them. Guys, it's like 12 comics and 2 tapes. Listen, I could send you Gene Perez's writing book to give you exercises on writing. I could recommend a bunch of things to you. Guys, let me tell you a little quick reference about what happened. Last year, September 22nd, I started going to jiu-jitsu. First couple of weeks, I struggled. I couldn't move around. Then I realized I needed a warm-up. I'm stiff in the beginning. So I started fucking warming up and stuff, and then I joined the class, and I go to a big class now. There's 20 people in the class, and you got to run, and you got to fucking do hip escapes, and you got to do all this shit. And, you know, little by little, I have a job. I've been there since September. I started the classes in December, the end of November, so by now I got a lid on the classes, right? And I was just thinking about this last week. I got promoted to I could go to 2 more classes at the school. They offer like 6 different classes. Some of them are drill class, some of them, you know. I go to this class called Blue. It's a blue belt class, and what this class is, it's basically you do a warm-up, you do a warm-up, you learn something, then you do King of the Hill, like 7 or 8 guys. You have to break the guard or pass the guard, 2-minute drills, and it builds you up. And then at the end, then you go back to drilling what you learned, and at the end you roll with people to close out the class. It's so weird how people always go, well, I want to join a gym and I want to get in shape before I join the gym. You know, with jiu-jitsu, I'm a little older, so I went online, and I studied all this shit about, you know, old man jiu-jitsu and how to train differently because you're a little older. But when I went to class on Thursday last week, that all went out the window. What I'm trying to say to you guys is that, you know, I go to the gym 2-3 days a week. I ride the bike. I hit the bag. I do little fucking things just to stay. But nothing could prepared me for what I went through on fucking Thursday. I was flying through the fucking air. I was getting thrown around. I enjoyed it. I'm not complaining about it. But what I'm trying to say is nothing could prepare me for that. Like, as much as I wanted to swing kettlebells and get in shape for rowing, nothing prepares you for that. You have to go in there and roll. And it's the same thing with stand-up. You could look in the mirror. You could go on Instagram. You could fucking go on Facebook and you could shoot videos with your fucking friends. It's not stand-up. It's not stand-up. You could be doing all those things aside from it, trying to get you to that spot. It's not fucking stand-up, okay? How do you get in stand-up shape? By getting in stand-up shape, by doing stand-up. We're talking about me working on a Wednesday. You know what? I had to drive an hour to New York, drive an hour back. I sat there for an hour and a half, and I talked for like 2 hours. When I got home Wednesday, I was tired. I'm not in working shape. Do you know what I'm saying? Like, I'm not in working shape. How do you get in working shape? Well, you should run 2 miles a day. No. By working. And it's the same thing with stand-up. You can do whatever you, I wrote, I did a podcast. That's not going to better your stand-up. Those are things you could do to help you stand up. I agree with you. But they're not going to improve your stand-up. And it's the same thing with stand-up. You have to watch it, you know, but at the same time, you got to go out and perform what you're learning. You could just watch so much stand-up if you're a stand-up. I want you to study the people and make notes about, you know, what they're, you know, with fucking Rodney. He had a great stage presence. I love his one-liners. And even if you don't like that style, hey, listen, you don't like that style. That's not what I'm talking about. I want you to know that style exists. That's all. That's all. You know, when the other day I got into Jimmy Florentine's car and he put on Japanese heavy metal. Did you hear it? Fucking pretty good. You know, Saki Saki, I don't know, Godzilla, some band, I don't know. Did I buy their album? Not really. They were great. I learned that they exist. So as a musician, I'm not going to buy their album, but I'm going to listen to it. What are they doing over in Japan? Holy shit, listen to that guitar sound. What did he do? Oh, he was eating sushi. He put sushi on the string or something like that. You know what I'm saying? Whatever. That's all things to help your career. So, and these are all the things that you're going to have to do fucking anyway. You know, a lot of older comics are going on the road this summer, and I see like 2 or 3 of them are taking younger guys, you know. And a couple guys are going on the road and they're taking YouTube guys. And there's this one YouTube guy I was looking at the other day. My friend asked me, did you know that this guy was going on the road with this young guy? And I go, no, I don't even know who that guy is. And I actually put on one of his tapes just to see who the guy was. I want to, maybe he's really good. I don't know. Guy was fucking terrible. He's a YouTube sensation comic. I got nothing against these guys, nothing. But he's trying to reinvent the wheel with stand-up. Like, he's like, well, you don't need to go to clubs. You know, how many comics are really thinking about Instagram and all this? Listen, I appreciate what you're saying and what you're doing, but it's not stand-up. And at the end, you could put on the fancy clothes, you could put on earrings, your little skull cap, you could smoke a cigarette to be mysterious. If you don't come through on that stage, that little act ain't gonna sell for you. And I'm wrong there, because there's a lot of little comedians now that have little acts that you motherfuckers dummies buy into. And then you go see him, the comic is fucking horrible, but you're impressed because he's got tattoos or he smokes on stage, he's so dark. Go fuck yourself, all right? Go fuck yourself. The comic offers you from the fucking heart. You never see me go up on stage with an earring or a fucking shirt or a hat to be cool. No, because at the end of the day, it's what comes out of your fucking stomach and through your heart to process it that matters. So that fucking little outfit you're putting on, that little fucking, you know, get up you got on, that you, whatever, it's going to help you with that crew that gets impressed by that. Look at him. He's so, yeah, that's great. But how many times are they going to pay the small 25 for you? Remember that. Just remember that before you put an outfit on or think it's cool to take a drink up on stage, you know, look at me, I'm drinking. Yeah, you fit a fucking category, but you didn't give me what I came to see. If I wanted to see a bunch of fucking poses, I could have gone to a fucking, you know, I didn't want to see a bunch of poses. I want the fucking meat from the fucking potato here. So that's how I looked at things. You know, I wasn't the best stand-up, but let me tell you something. When I went up there, you got your fucking money's worth. I put my heart on that fucking stage. I almost risked having a heart attack. You know how many times I left off the fucking stage going, I'm surprised I didn't fucking die tonight? You know how many? But I did that to give you the value of the fucking dollar. Anyway, back to fucking Rodney Dangerfield. We went off the fucking crew there for a second. Jimmy's a big Rodney fan, and that's our connection. Like, Rodney's just this fucking savage, you know, and Dice was there. So the guy recommended at the store for me to watch the Rodney thing. And I was like, Rodney, really? Wow. And I brought him home. I didn't know what to expect. And it was an education, guys. Listen, if you're down to bare bones and you're looking to get into comedy, here's the fucking solution. You ready? Grab a pen. Get both the Rodney tapes on Amazon. I don't care if you buy them used. They're on there. They're on there because I look all the time. You Got Nothing or something like that. You Got Nothing with an N-U-T-H-I-N. You got Barry Sobel. You got Lenny Clark. You got fucking Roseanne, Schimmel. You got 12 Jim Carrey. You got 12 of the best comics of a generation going up, and you got Rodney hosting. Are you fucking kidding me? Are you fucking kidding me? That's the Bible of stand-up. Just watching Bill Hicks follow Andrew Dice Clay like nothing happened, and Andrew took that room apart, piece by piece. You could see him from stage throwing grenades at the different sections and people's heads blowing up. And Bill Hicks followed him. It's a fucking education. If you're a comic and you're not studying the Bill Hicks set, following Andrew Dice Clay, get a different fucking career. It's not going to work out for you. That's, when you want to get out of a hole, you watch Bill Hicks, what he does in that set. And that's why you could, hey, listen, I'm a junkie, I'm a lot of things, but I was a student of that fucking game. And me being a student of the game was what got me in with Joe. Joe didn't, listen, like I've said 1,000 times, Joe's got no reason to like me. You ever think about that? We have nothing in common. He's a fucking savage, I'm a fucking criminal. But our mutual respect came from the respect I had for him in his stand-up and the respect he had for me in my stand-up knowledge. Never mind my stand-up, because I had a different approach to stand-up. I had an honest view. When you bomb, you bomb. Don't blame it on the microphone. Don't blame it on the sound. You bombed. Take it like a man and move the fuck on. Nothing's going to save you. You know who's going to save you, cocksucker? You. What's the answer? Notice what you did wrong. Stop saying it was the fucking audience and your wife. Stop saying all that shit. It was you. Write down what you did wrong and go find the set and fucking correct it. It's that goddamn easy. That's how easy this fucking career is. That's how easy life is. It goes back to you. You're eating too much chocolate, throw the fucking chocolate out of the house. Why are you buying chocolate, bring it to your house if you're eating a fucking pound of it? The neighbor gave me a pound of fucking Raisinets. I went to see Batman, I told you the other day. I go, the fucking Raisinets were terrible. They didn't even have Raisinets. They had like fucking Raisin Company, put chocolate on Raisin. It was terrible. She goes, I'm going to bring you the best Raisinets in the world. I thought she was going to bring me a box or a bag. She brought me a Costco fucking container. I had to hide it. Anyway, so when I rented that Rodney thing, I studied that at night. In the daytime, I would wake up and write or hustle a job or a bag of Coke. And at night, my goal was to do 2 fucking sets with what I had learned from that particular comic from the night before. That was it. I studied that motherfucker to no end. But in the meantime, I re-fell in love with Rodney. Something about Rodney, when I got to L.A., you ever read a book? Like if you read a book on Italy, you're going to read about this, Palermo, whatever, this part of Italy. You're not really going to learn till you get there, till you put the pieces together. It's like anything else. It's like anything else. And it's the same with stand-up. You could watch these 2 things. I could talk to you about stand-up for hours and charge you all the money in the world and tell you you're going to be the best stand-up in the world. I'm not doing anything for you. If I'm your stand-up coach, basically I pick you up at 7 o'clock and we go to 3 or 4 different spots. We tape your sets. We write notes. And at the end of the night, we go to a diner and wrap it up. What'd you do wrong? What'd you do right? Put this joke here, put this joke there. You know, there's a fucking science to this, guys. It's not just going up there. Trust me, I had a hard time understanding the science. But after a while, I just had to fucking surrender to it, or I knew I wouldn't get anywhere in my career. That's it. That's it, guys. It's that fucking easy if you want to do that. I moved to L.A. and I just, when I got to L.A., I started watching a lot more stand-up. I would go to the store, watch Mooney, Rogan, those guys, Shandling, you know, and then I would go home at night and write what I learned at the store, and I would just compare, you know, just compare notes. I was always fucking learning. But when I got to L.A., I started seeing those guys that were at the Rodney specials, Barry Sobel, Schimmel, you know, I saw Robert Townsend at the store a few times. He was very good on there. So I started seeing these guys come to life, and in a way, for me, it was like, you know what, I could come to life. I've never done a set with Rodney or anything, and I asked around to see if Rodney ever came out, but Rodney was never in L.A. when I was there, and I never, ever, ever got to see him at the Comedy Store or got to see him perform or anything like that. My claim to fame with Rodney goes right here, motherfuckers. I loved Rodney. I had never met him. I had never seen him. Everything I knew about Rodney was on tape, and then later on, what I had read on the internet, right? So I'm at the store. I'm a fucking schlub. It's 2003. You know, I had no success at stand-up at the time. I had success booking some stuff. I was ripping. I was rocking and rolling at the fucking store and having a great time. And, you know, they have those late spots at the store. And I'll tell you, when you're a young comic, or I just got to stop saying young. When you're any fucking comic, you hate those spots. You know, in a way, they reflect where your career is. You know what I'm saying? So if you get a spot between 9 and 10:30, you're the real deal. If you get a spot after, 11:45 till 2 in the morning, you're in development, and you come to terms with that. You learn that you're gonna go up. That hot crowd that was there at 8 o'clock, they ain't there no more. They left. So you're working with a bunch of people. You're working with 2 guys that went on dates and the girls got sick. You're working with 2 other guys that went on dates and the girls bought drugs and sucked the dealer's dick and they left them stranded on Sunset. You left with those type of schlubs in the audience. When you go up at midnight at the store, it's just a bunch of fucking, stragglers, if that's what you want to call them. So, I would go down there, I would do my fucking spot in the original room, and at that time I was dying a slow death, maybe midnight, 12:15, and then Mitzi would let me close out the fucking main room. But Joey, you're closing it out. You're a headliner. Save it. I'm closing it out for fucking 8 people who are drunk and don't know what the fuck I'm talking about. So I would go back there. I would do my original store spot, hold off on doing coke, because I had to do, the main room paid you like $200 at a time when I couldn't make rent. So $200 for me was like playing at the fucking Garden. You know what I'm saying? So I would go down there, and between the Dom Herrera thing of me couldn't follow him, Dom and bombing, there was a couple guys that I just got a thing in my mind that I couldn't follow, and I'd bomb whenever I'd fucking follow him. So this went on for a year. So I was always kind of depressed on Saturday nights. Not depressed, but I wasn't like, oh, here we go again. I'm going to get down there and get tortured. I'm going to bomb, and then I'm going to bomb a bigger debt. The only thing I'm getting out of this tonight is $215. $15 for my original room set and the deuce for the fucking main room set. So I get down to the main room. I come on stage, and guess what? Same result. There's fucking 9 people in the audience. Oh, look out. We got another drunk scraggler that's coming in. Don't start your material until he sits down, But I look in the middle of the room, and it's Harry Basil, Charlie Hill, God rest his soul, Alan Stevens. These are all old school comics from the store. They all worked with Kennison, Diaz. That's what the heyday of the store. Mike Binder. All those motherfuckers would go on there on Saturdays. They were old-timers. They weren't on the road anymore. They were just going up to the hang. I think Charlie Hill still did spots up there. Now, here's ironic. Charlie Hill was a fucking great guy. He was a American Indian comic, my name, I changed my name. My name used to be Mountain, but I shortened it to Hill. Like those type of jokes and shit. I love that shit. Okay, guys, I love it. I don't give a fuck. Charlie Hill was my boy. I love Charlie. I loved Alan Stevens and Basil. Like, I knew him from the hallways. Like, hi. They were fucking royalty. I'm going up in the main room at 1 o'clock. Nobody wants to talk to me. Me and Tripley are going up late. Nobody would talk to us. And one night, I'm in the hallway. I had seen them up there a couple of weeks. Like, every other week, they would go up there and just goof around and drink on a Saturday. And they'd leave like at 12:30, 1. Just guys trying to get out, going out to hang out, watching some stand-up. At the time, Alan Stevens was, he's always a great guy, Alan, but Alan was one of the producers on Arliss. So they were all coming up on Monday. I didn't know what Basil was doing. And Charlie Hill and some other guys, I didn't know what they were doing. And one night I got off the stage, and fucking Charlie Hill comes up to me. He's like, Joey, you really made me laugh tonight. I just wanted to hug him and cry. Like I said, on Saturday nights, funny was the last thing on my mind. So for him to come up to me and say you were funny, he goes, you were giving me belly laughs. He goes, Joey, you were giving me belly laughs up there, and there was 9 fucking people. He goes, keep doing what you're doing. I'm like, thank you, Mr. Hill, the whole fucking thing. So every week was something different. One Saturday, I get the hell out of there, and I bump into them, and they're like, hey, man, that was a great set tonight. And fucking Basil said to me, Joey, what are you doing this week? And I go, nothing. He goes, I might have an audition for you. He goes, write down your agent's information. I go, all right. I write down my information. Again, when somebody asks you, they got a job for you. Okay, whatever, take it. Again, you don't hold it personal. They were thinking of you. You know, and sometimes it goes through. Sometimes they actually take it back to the supervising casting director or whatever, and they go, no, we're going to go with this person. But at least they thought of you. Harry came up to me and he goes, you know, blah, blah, blah. And I wrote my name, and I thought it was very nice. He also invited me to his home to watch. He was a big fight buff, so he would always have, like, the good boxing matches. Great guy, Harry. Basically, but Saturday nights, I'm always doing comedy. Harry now he runs the Laugh Factory in Reno and in Vegas. That's how good of a motherfucker he is. So Harry comes up to me, I got to give you something this week. I'll call you, give me your number. Sure enough, I got a call from my agent. And she goes, I just got a call here. I have an audition for you for the new Rodney Dangerfield movie. I'm like, what? She goes, Joey, you're going in for the Rodney Dangerfield movie. Open up your fucking ears. What's the matter with you? Go to whatever, get the sides faxed to you, and go in there at 1:30 or something. I'm not thinking anything of it. Then all of a sudden I get a text, and it's Harold Basil, a page, and it's Harry Basil. He goes, hey, just to let you know, we called your agent. You're coming in for the audition today. It was Harry who got me the audition for Rodney's movie. Okay, guys, so I do what I got to do that morning. I learned these fucking sides backwards and forwards. I know them in Spanish, Japanese, English. I fucking know them. I stayed up all night. You know, this is a Rodney movie. Guys, I go in the waiting room. I sign my name. I have my headshot with my little fucking faggy bio with the couple fake credits and shit. And they go, Joey Diaz. I get up. I go in. How you doing? And I walk in the room. It's fucking Harry Basil and fucking Rodney Dangerfield. Guys, this is too fucking surreal for Uncle Joey. I told you guys, listen, in life, if you put the fucking work in from your fucking heart, don't worry about what Mike's doing, don't worry about what Joey's doing, don't worry about what Lee's doing or Steve Simone. Just worry about what you're doing. The universe will fucking give you light. Listen, I never belonged in L.A. Like, if you look at me, I never belonged. If you hear me on Rogan, you know it. That wasn't my world. I'm not a fake. I don't need to. That's not my fucking world, you know. But Rodney was my fucking world, you know. So when I walked in that room and I saw Rodney, I was like, holy fuck. And they're like, sit, you know, tell us about yourself. I told them I'm a comic. I didn't fucking kiss Rodney's ass in the room. I'm a fan. I loved Easy Money, you know. But he's like, thank you. And all of a sudden I read the fucking sides. And in my world, I hit him out of the park. I was prepared, guys. Fucking Rodney turns around. He goes, Jojo, you were great. He goes, I just gave away that role, though. I was like, God damn it. I shake Rodney's hand. I'm walking out the door. I hit the fucking street. And I hear somebody go, Joey. And it was Harry Basil. And he goes, listen, bro. Rodney wants you for this fucking movie. He gave away that role. But he wants you to come in and he'll find something for you. Are you... Guys, here's a kid. I don't know if you watched the fucking the podcast I did a couple weeks ago with what's his name? Ryan Sickler. I was talking about agents. At that time in 2003, 2004, guys, I was working my butt off. You ever just working your ass off? I'm doing movies. I'm going to fucking act. And I'm not doing big movies. I'm doing student fucking movies, okay? Because I wanted to be good at my craft. I'm doing fucking student movies. I'm not getting paid. When do you shoot those student movies? What do you think? You shoot those at fucking 2 in the afternoon? You shoot those at 2 in the morning because there's no money. So you have to shoot those late, 11 o'clock and shit. You guys have no idea. I was getting no... Here's all my friends. Here's Ari, Renazizi. All these motherfuckers got CAA, Josh Wolf. They got fucking 3 Arts. This guy's got Gersh. I'm with the fucking coloring book. Okay? The coloring book agency. An agency that was a kid's agency. She really liked me and she wanted to start working with adults. It was owned by two African-American sisters, badass, dangerous bitches. One was an attorney and one really new fucking casting, like really new casting. So they fucking drilled out. They got me a couple fucking movies. She got me a couple TV shows. She got me Mad TV. I always liked them a lot, and I'll never forget, like, I had the fucking coloring book, guys. I never got invited to Montreal. Nobody ever thought about me. Fuck nobody. You know, I was at the store struggling, fucking finding my way. I think I got a TV show that nobody saw, National Lampoon, with Rich Voss and fucking Brian Holtzman down. Guys, nothing. Nothing. So how the fuck do you think I felt when fucking this kid, this sweetheart of a kid, Harry Basil, runs out to Sunset to tell me that they gave away the role, but Rodney's going to write a fucking role for me? What do you think I felt like after that? Do you have any fucking idea? You know what I felt like? Like all you motherfuckers could suck my dick. All you motherfuckers could suck my dick. I booked 2 movies. Yeah, I was in The Longest Yard and this, but I booked 2 movies that were crucial to my career, that were crucial for me to stay in the business. And those 2 movies were Analyze That and the Rodney movie. Because in my world, there's not too many motherfuckers better than Rodney Dangerfield. And in the writing aspect of it, there's not too many motherfuckers in the writing movie business that did the damage Harold Ramis did in the late 70s, early 80s. He was a fucking genius. He came from SITV in Canada. A fucking shout out to fucking Canada for producing him, John Candy, all these motherfuckers with an improv troupe doing like a weekly show. Saturday Night Live hooked them all up, but they didn't take Harold Ramis. Now, for guys like me, Mike, you at home watching, can you imagine being around with 5 guys the last 3 years, putting your heart out? Do you know what that's like, the camaraderie? Mike's got kids, I got kids, but every night we still meet at the Cha-Cha Cafe to do fucking sketches, and we write sketches, and then we go drink coffee till 2 in the morning to write sketches. Can you imagine after 2 or 3 years of doing that, your 5 buddies got a TV show and you didn't? What would you feel like? So this motherfucker went and wrote like Caddyshack. You know, listen, guys, I don't even... Ghostbusters. I mean, Harold Ramis did this fucking shit that, you know, so most people, if I didn't hire you, would go fold under a fucking tree. Harold Ramis said, you don't want to hire me on Saturday Night Live? That show sucks anyway, number 1. And number 2, I'm going to rock your fucking world with what I'm going to come out with. Ghostbusters, Caddyshack, Stripes. You know, this is just off the top of my head that I remember now. I remember I did fucking 1,000 milligrams of ABX last night. I needed to sleep deep. I slept deep in the REM level with my fucking, I was deep in the REM sleep last night. And Saturday night, too, I ate 1,000 milligrams. So anyway, I don't remember all his other fucking accomplishments. But my goal when I got to L.A. wasn't to, I never thought I didn't have the opportunity to work with Rodney or motherfucking Harold Ramis. But both those guys set me straight. Set me straight on who the fuck I was, especially Rodney Dangerfield. So when whatever his name was, told me I had the movie, it was like a week later, I had to go to wardrobe, and then the movie's available. It's not a fucking all-star movie, but guys, there's a lot of stars in that movie. The fat Scientologist chick, Christy, fucking one of those brothers is in that movie, Paul Rodriguez. Oh my God, it's got an all-star fucking lineup, that movie. None of us did anything with it, but it really, the Harlan Williams, the guy from Vacation. I mean, there's a lot of hitters. And Back by Midnight. I didn't know this at the time. I showed up to the set, and I'll never forget that. I got there, and I'm like, how you doing? I'm Joe Diaz. I'm here to work on the movie. And they're like, your name ain't on the list. And I'm like, and also I see the fucking dude from the Laugh Factory walking, like, go, hey, Harry, I'm here. And he's like, come on, let him through, and all this shit. And they take me to, they're like, we don't know what we want to do with you today. We got to go ask Rodney. So we walk to Rodney's trailer. I can't believe fat little fucking Joey Diaz, ex-felon Joey Diaz, is walking with Harry Basil to Rodney Dangerfield's trailer to find out what I'm doing that day. We knock on the fucking door. Rodney opens the door with a fucking robe and his balls hanging out, and he's smoking a number. When I saw Rodney with a joint in his hand, I didn't want to smoke with him. I'm not one of those fucking idiot types. I was so fucking happy that my fucking idol smoked dope. So I'm like, how you doing, Mr. Dangerfield? I'm here. First off, it's Rodney, okay, kid? Number two, your name is JoJo. That's your name in this movie. It's JoJo. I'm just going to call you JoJo. I don't know what I want to do with you yet. Stay close to me. So I went and changed, and they told me to stay close to Rodney all day. Now, you guys know me, man. You know I don't get giggly about little fucking stupid shit. Guys, I was like a little fucking girl next to Rodney. I didn't talk to him. I didn't bother him. I didn't ask him questions. I just watched the man. At the time, he wasn't the Rodney that we all got to see. He was an older Rodney. His eyes were constantly bloodshot. He had bags under his eyes, and he couldn't remember his lines. You had to read his lines to him from across the room. It didn't make for a good movie. It didn't win any Academy Awards. I think 4 people saw it. Comedy Central plays it at 2 in the morning, once a year out of sympathy. It didn't matter. To me, it didn't matter if the movie sucked. That's what you guys never understood. You know, last night, The Many Saints of Newark came on HBO. The Sopranos were on all day yesterday. I didn't know why. And then I put the TV on to get the weather for last night because we were thinking, or Saturday, we were thinking of going up to North Bergen. And Saturday, The Many Saints premiered, you know, and I saw that it was coming on. I had to leave. I didn't watch it or anything. It was coming on later on. And even I thought about that. You know, I thought about how that movie didn't do well. What do you want me to do? You want me to shoot myself? You guys don't understand why I did that movie. I did that movie for the education. I didn't care about the money. I didn't care if it won an Academy Award. In my personal opinion, I wish it would have done a little better. But hey, you don't understand what it did for me. So whenever Back by Midnight is on, I always get hate mail. Like, what the fuck was that, Rodney? It doesn't matter. Do you have the idea of what he did for me by putting me in that movie? Nobody else would fucking talk to me. Nobody wanted to talk to me. I was a criminal. I snorted coke. Rodney handpicked me for his fucking movie. That was more important to me. It's like I look at all this shit now with stand-up comedy, and I'm unwinding. Let me tell you something. At the end of the day, I got handpicked by Mitzi Shore. You don't think I'm funny? Whatever, go fuck yourself. I got handpicked by Mitzi Shore, and I also got handpicked by Rodney. So for all the people who ran all the festivals, you know what I'm saying? All the festivals, and we're going to have so much fun, and they didn't pick me. I never got my feelings hurt because it didn't really matter what you thought. Rodney thought I had it. And in my world, that's all I need. What do I always say in that fucking thing? I said, you need 3 people to take over a fucking country. I need 3 bad motherfuckers to take over a fucking country. And in my world, I did. I had Mitzi, I had Rodney, and I had Harold Ramis. I had a relationship with them. I got to talk to them. They touched my heart. I touched their heart. I don't know if I did or not, but I took their word over everybody else's. I didn't give a fuck what any of those fucking agents, casting directors, anything, anybody who's got to do with comedy and comes up to me with a story, unless you're on that stage, I tell you what, you go fuck yourself before you come over here talking about any fucking comic, not just me. So do you understand when I said that on stage that night? That's where it all came from. It came from knowledge. I took over listen, I'm a sack of shit, and I took over that comedy motherfucker. They could all suck my dick. And it wasn't because I went to Montreal. It wasn't because I was on the road with Judd Apatow. None of that shit. It was because the balls I got put into me. I got to work with the Holy Trinity. By 2004, I had worked with the Holy Trinity, and you were in no danger if you thought you were going to fucking stop me. I didn't give a fuck. You know, Rodney got me on the track, and then Harold Ramis polished me up. He's like, fuck these motherfuckers. He goes, I watch your stand-up and I watch your auditions. If they don't want you in Montreal, they could suck your dick. If they don't want you for this festival, they could suck your dick. You're the real fucking deal. You're here with me. You're talking to De Niro. You think I would have brought you in here if this was a flash in the fucking pan? So when Harold Ramis told me that shit, I was like, fuck these fucking comedy clubs. I remember I called the comedy club. I'm not going to tell you the name of the comedy club. Like in 2010, it's a comedy club in the area here. I called them up and I'm like, listen, I'm from Jersey. I was in the longest show. I like to play your club. And he goes, what's your name? And I go, Joey Diaz. He goes, I never heard of you. Fuck you. And I'm like, you know what? I never heard of you either, cocksucker. Go fuck yourself. But if you want, watch this, watch the longest show, and maybe you'll get to know. Now me and the guy are tight. He doesn't remember our conversation 10 years ago. Yeah. No, he's a good guy. He never remembered our conversation, but even those type of calls. I always told people to suck my dick. Hey, send me a tape. You know what? Rodney didn't want a tape. Why do you want a tape? Who the fuck are you? Hey, send me a tape. Harold Ramis didn't want a tape. That guy wrote fucking Ghostbusters. Who the fuck are you? Some comedy club in fucking New Mexico, and I gotta send you a tape? You could suck my motherfucking dick. So, when I come to you people and I talk about Rodney, or the, you know, today's obviously is a comedy podcast on a Monday. Not really. It's just trying to tell you about who lit a fucking fire under my ass and where I came from. That's where I came from. That's the school where I came from. Way before Rogan said it or anybody else said it. My confidence level was out of the roof by 2004 because the guy I admired in the comedy world gave me a nod. That's it. Did I go on the road with him? I didn't need to. Just being, I think I worked 9 days on that movie. That movie was a first for a lot of things for me because if you, at that time, I did Taxi and I was in the beginning of the movie. I'm rolling on the bicycle and the credits are rolling. Analyze that, the credits are rolling, I got shot. I never had the perfect scenario. Now, I'm in a movie for fucking 9 days, most money I've ever made, but the movie sucks. You never get what you want, but you get what you need. And that's a podcast for today. Monday, the fucking 21st of March. Month is moving, cocksuckers. We're moving. COVID's over. Get on the fucking bus. We're going down the hill 90 miles an hour. All that bullshit came to an end. So we're here. We're queer. It's Monday. It's the 21st, and we're onward and onward. I love you motherfuckers with all my heart. Have a great fucking Monday. Thank you for the support and love. And now for a word from our motherfucking sponsors, Jack. What's happened, you bad motherfuckers? I want to thank you for watching today. You know what, guys? I'm lining up all these guests for you. And obviously, you like me talking shit by myself on a fucking Monday, which I like too. But Wednesday. But anyway, the joint is brought to you by Liquid IV. Listen, you want the best when you're working out, right? The best gym, the best trainer. Liquid IV is fucking tremendous. I didn't know how good it was till I got COVID. 1 stick of Liquid IV and 16 ounces of water, forget about it. You'll be tip-top Magoo, hydrated and ready to fucking run, jump, throw karate kicks made with premium ingredients. Liquid IV is vegan, non-GMO, and gluten-free dairy and soy. Plus, they're supporting frontline workers. They take care of everybody. They've donated over 19 million service to EMS, food banks, veterans, active military. This is a great company to do business with. Let me tell you something else. The product is sensational. They sell it nationwide at Costco. Knock yourself out. Uncle Joey's here to save you 25% on a Monday morning. Or for liquidiv.com. Just by using code JOEY at checkout. That's 25% of anything you order when you use promo code JOEY at liquidiv.com. Start with the grape. You'll be fucking tweeting me saying, Joey, you're a fucking genius. Experience better hydration at liquidiv.com. The joint is also brought to you by one of my fucking favorites. You know I like to smell good, and I like everything to be in order, and that's Manscaped. If you smell something weird right now, you're fucking 2 feet away from your nutsack. They're probably fucking reeking through the fucking jeans, you filthy animal. Never fear, Uncle Joey and Manscaped are sending you to the fucking showers. You're gonna save big by going to manscaped.com and getting 20% off and free shipping with code Diaz. Listen, a shower is the best part of the day. You can bang one out. Then after you bang one out, you little fucking use your Lawnmower 4.0. It's waterproof. Then you lather on a little ultra premium body wash, tremendous with aloe vera to moisturize all day long. Then you do the 2-in-1 shampoo, conditioner for your hair, your ball sack, your leg hair. Then you want no BO, right? You don't want to be fucking stinking up a storm like a fucking onion. So you get a little aluminum-free deodorant. And then if you got tattoos or dry skin, they even got a hydrating body moisturizing spray. Listen, Manscaped's got you covered from A to Z. Plus, now they're giving you 20% off and free shipping at code Diaz at manscaped.com. Listen, you need to wash your nutsack and be ready. The summer's coming. You don't want the wolf man looking at your dick. I'm going to give you 20% off free shipping at manscaped.com when you use promo code Diaz, D-I-A-Z. It's time to get wet and clean your fucking body, you filthy animal. Manscaped shower routine. I'm going to put it on video soon. So go to manscaped.com. And the joint is brought to you by ONNIT. When it comes to supplements, ONNIT is number 2 to nobody. They are number 1 with the Shroom Tech, the Alpha Brain, the New Mood, the vanilla, the Mexican chocolate protein powder, fucking tremendous. Go to ONNIT and press code Joey at church and get 10% off delivered right to your crib. I want to thank Liquid I.V. I want to thank Manscaped. I want to thank ONNIT. And I want to thank you guys for having our back again this week. It's a beautiful fucking day to be alive. Go enjoy it, cocksuckers. Stay black. I'll see you motherfuckers Wednesday. Tip top Magoo.